Let's get more on the problems for House Republicans and what they're facing ahead of the midterms. Senior political analyst Brit Hume joins us tonight from Washington. Good evening, Brit. You heard that story. Right now it's kind of in a theoretical sense, but what about this forcing Ryan to get out so they could get Democrats to vote for or against Pelosi?
Well, that's one of those clever-sounding stratagems that you hear about from time to time where, you set up this vote even though it may or may not pass in order to force the other guys to vote in a certain way that will be politically disadvantageous to them. And it's tried from time to time. I'm not sure on the strength of that you're going to force out a well-regarded and popular speaker before he's ready to go. I'd be hesitant to believe that'll actually happen, although as we go forward here, the question of the speaker's influence as a lame duck is a real one, which is to say, if you're the speaker and you're trying to round up votes for a particular measure, and they know you're not going to be around and can't punish them if they vote the other way in any way, because he has all the power of appointment to committees and all that. If he's leaving, they might not be so eager to go along with him. So that's an issue. But you think about it, Brett, that's not really the problems facing House Republicans this time are not really wrapped up in the personhood of the speaker. They're wrapped up in the political gravity of a president's first midterm and, the issues that confront the country.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's classic Paul Ryan to say that I need to tell my constituents I'm not going to be around instead of kind of waiting until after the election to do that. But talk about the problems facing those Republicans. I mean, they've got this immigration potential vote, which is one of the reasons the Farm Bill went down.
That's right. And it's worth remembering that this caucus had some serious divisions within it, the Republican caucus, before Paul Ryan's announcement of his that he was leaving. And the immigration measure, which is profoundly controversial, on which a vote may be forced, is a problem. The failure of the Farm Bill, as you mentioned, or as Peter mentioned, is a problem. They're going to have to get back to that Farm Bill at some point, and I suspect they will. But these are all the kinds of problems you don't particularly want to have as you're headed into a midterm election, particularly, Brett, a midterm election in which, the historic loss of the incumbent president's party in a midterm first president's midterm is 24 seats. If 24 seats flip this time, which would be kind of normal, the Republicans lose the House. So you've got all that going against you. You've got the motivation provided by the personal animus toward Trump that so many liberal and Democratic voters feel, and that adds up to a high hill for Republicans to climb to try to hold on to the House. There's some recent numbers that make it look a little better. The so-called generic ballot, that's the one where you ask, would you rather vote for a Democrat or a Republican unnamed in the forthcoming election? That used to be, the Republicans were like 16 points underwater in that, and that has narrowed a lot. That's a good sign. President's approval rating has ticked up. That will help, but it's still a huge challenge.
Yeah, uphill battle for Republicans. The right track, wrong track is going in the right way if you're in the House Republicans as well. Britt, as always, fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you.